Welcome to another MECH 1000 video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a C-sized paper space layout. So if you haven't already done this, you're going to need to set up a paper space layout for a C-sized sheet, which is 22 by 17, and this will be used for your Chapter 10 drawing. In Chapter 10, we do an assembly drawing that has multiple parts. So it's a bigger drawing than what we're used to, and so we need a bigger sheet. Now hopefully you have already set up a layout 1 paper space with a border and a title block that's set up for an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, an A size or letter size sheet of paper. And perhaps you have a layout 2 that hasn't been touched yet. You haven't really set anything up here in layout 2. So this would be a good place to set up your C-sized sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to layout 1 and take all of my title block and all of the border that I created earlier, and I'm going to copy it to the clipboard with a Control-C and go to layout 2 and paste it with a Control-V. Now I'm not really too worried about where I place it because we're going to be changing this layout size, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just kind of put it approximately in the right spot. So this is set up currently for an A size sheet, which is 11 inches wide. We want to double that. We want to make this 22 inches wide. So the difference between 11 and 22 is 11. So I will use the stretch command, and I'll select the right half of my drawing. I don't want to pick the whole thing. I just want to pick the left half. I want to make sure all of the title block is included and half of the border. Now remember, when you use the stretch command, you want to go from right to left. You don't want to go from left to right. Okay, see how that's blue? We want that selection window to be green. So I'm going to start it again now. Stretch from right to left. Finish that selection with a right click. I'm going to turn my ortho mode on to make sure that I don't stretch it out crooked. I want to make sure I stretch this out horizontally, and I want to stretch it out 11 inches. So I move the cursor to the right, type 11, enter. So now my border is twice as wide as it was previously. I'm also stretching out the viewport here as well. And then I will stretch the top half, again, starting from the right, going to the left. Choose the top half. I don't want the whole thing, just the top half. Right-click to finish that selection. Choose a base point. Drag that cursor up. So it was originally 8.5 inches tall. I want to double that, so I want to stretch it out an additional 8.5 inches. So now my height becomes 17, and the width is 22. So my border is stretched out for a C-size sheet. The only issue is this white sheet of paper. It is still showing a letter size. So we just need to go to the big red A in the upper left corner, and then go to print. Don't actually click on print, but just hit the little arrow beside it, and we'll go to our page setup. And it brings up this dialog box. You can see we have the two layout tabs. Layout 1 is where we have our A-sized sheet. Layout 2 is what we want to modify. That's the layout that we're currently in. So we'll modify that. And under paper size, we're going to change that from a letter-sized or A-sized sheet to an ANSI C. Now there's two of them, 17 by 22 and 22 by 17. It really doesn't matter which you select. Now, when we increase the size of this piece of paper, this white rectangle, we want it to be centered with our border. So instead of choosing layout, which doesn't give us the option to center the plot, we will choose extents, and then that will allow us to check the box for center the plot. That's going to center everything up nicely. Just hit OK and close, and there now you can see the white sheet of paper in the background is matched up perfectly with the border of our drawing. I'm just going to double click inside this viewport and turn off the grid display. Again, that's just a personal preference. I'm going to select the viewport. I don't want to see the actual edges of the viewport when the drawing is printed, so I'll put that on the def points layer. So that will allow me to see it on the screen, but it won't print on any hard copies of this drawing. Okay, so now I have a C-size sheet ready to go for our Drawing 10 assignment.